श्रीमान् वेङ्कटनाथार्यः कवितार्किककेसरी वेदान्ताचार्यवर्यो मे सन्निधत्ताम् सदा हृदि स्वादयन्निह सर्वेषाम् त्रय्यन्तार्थम् सुदुर्ग्रहम् स्तोत्रयामास योगीन्द्रः तम् वन्दे यामुनाह्वयम् नमो नमो यामुनाय यामुनाय नमो नमः नमो नमो यामुनाय यामुनाय नमो नमः यत्पदाम्भोरुहध्यान विध्वस्ताशेषकल्मषः वस्तुतामुपयातोऽहम् यामुनेयम् नमामि तम्
श्रीमत्कृष्ण समाह्वाय नमो यामुनसूनवे यत्कटाक्ष एकलक्ष्याणां सुलभः श्रीधरः सदा नमः यामुन पाद अब्ज रेणुभिः पावित आत्मने विदित अखिल वेद्याय गुरवे विदित आत्मने नमः अचिन्त्य अद्भुत अक्लिष्ट ज्ञान वैराग्य राशये नाथाय मुनये अगाध भगवत भक्ति सिंधवे. So we have seen so far points 3-8. Now we are going to 39. Nyasam ahur manishino brahmanam. The question is, the Supreme Soul dwells where, or how should we do the prapatti? Let us take it this way also, in two ways. Manishinaha, noble people, said Ahuhu, that Brahmanam is Nyasam. This is what we call in the name Lord Sriman Narayana, Naranam Ayanam. He is occupying the individual souls, or rather all the creations. Nyasaha, deposit. So he is there. So he is there everywhere. Again, with regard to prapatti, we call it as bharanyasaha, transferring the burden of both merits and sins. It is not only sins, but also merits. So he will be the receptacle for our burden. Pratibandhakam is what we call obstacle to the moksha, namely both good deeds and bad deeds. And therefore, Nyasam Brahmanam Ahu. Brahmanam, the word Brahmanam may lead to some second meaning also. Brahma is, Lord Creator is Brahma. And here it is Brahman, Nakaranta, Pullinga Shabdaha. Brahma is Akaranta, Pullinga Shabdaha. So Brahmanam here refers to the neutral gender word called Brahma. We call it Param Brahma. He is called the depositing place. Depositing place. So whatever we deposit, we have to deposit in him. Now we remind ourselves that these points are dealt with rather as the inner meaning of Sri Yamunacharya's Stotra Ratnam. Now number 40, you will understand these are all some repetitions of the different meanings. Nyasaha iti Brahma. So for the creator, I mean, who is the creator? We understand from the Shastras that Lord Sriman Narayana has allocated a portfolio called creation, it is entrusted. The department of creation has been entrusted to the Lord, namely Brahma. Brahma otherwise called Chaturmukha. You identify him with the 4 faces. And therefore Brahma Nyasaha. So he is the depositing place. So here the creator is Lord Sriman Narayana. All the actions are done by him. He is the doer. Therefore here Brahma refers to the supreme soul, namely Sriman Narayana. So Nyasaha is. 41. Tasman Nyasam Esham Tapasam Atiriktam Ahuti. Okay, you say that by doing Sharanagati, by making what we call total surrender, we have to submit all our, say, so-called belongings. Or rather, we are returning our possessions. So far, we have been mistaking that all our possessions are ours. When we mistake that, so we regret for our mistake and return the property, return to the original owner. For sometimes we are the owner and we have the limited freedom to use it also. And later, so we submit everything to him, resubmit everything to him. Because he has granted us this body and the individual soul. And therefore, then we resubmit ourselves. When we resubmit ourselves, can we understand him fully? The problem the problem faced, rather mentioned in the previous page was na pravachanena labhyaha. Na pravachanena labhyaha. By lecture, by giving a speech, you cannot reach him. You cannot get him. By words, you cannot get him. By reading scriptures, you cannot get him. So one more next step. The next step is, yes, the sages are doing a lot of penance. By penance, you ask the question whether he can be reached. No. Tapasam atiriktam ahuti. Tasmat, therefore, I think there is one more sentence is expected earlier that precedes the word tasmat. Tasmat, therefore, why Lord is called Nyasa? So tasmat Nyasam Yesham Tapasam Atiriktam Ahu. Now again I repeat the depositing place, the place of deposit. And we are not able to understand how when we make the total surrender, reach him. Therefore, tapasam atiriktam nyasam. It is over and beyond the sages who do tapas, that in penance. So we can't reach him by penance. Dhyanam, upasanam, karma, jnanam, everything is not helpful because he is beyond everything. But what should we do? You have the next, in the coming points, we will understand when the problems are posed, the solutions are given. Then tasmadapi vadhyam prapannam na pratiprayachanti. Tasmadapi, again there is something preceding the sentence. Vadhyam is to be killed. So we always say after death, that is at the time of death, we go to the other world. What is that other world? We are not sure. Because of the good deeds, we think that we are going to heaven. Because of the bad deeds, we are going to hell. Because of the grace of God, we go to Vaikuntham. So should we be killed? Vadhyam is one is fit to be killed. Or prapannam, a person who has made a total surrender. So na pratiprayachanti, now the subject is missing here. The subject is rather what we call tapaha, dhanam, upasanam, so everything. As soon as the death occurs, as soon as a person, an individual soul makes a total surrender, they are not giving the fruits. What is that? What are not giving the fruits? Tapaha, dhanam, aradhanam, shravanam, mananam, nididhyasanam. We already saw the shrotavyaha, mantavyaha, nididhyasitavyaha. Okay, we do all these duties, but in spite of it, na pratiprayachanti. They don't give us the fruit that we expect. We must expect only that fruit, namely moksha. Moksha is otherwise called kainkarya, the service to the Lord. And therefore, na pratiprayachanti. Yachanti give, prayachanti give well, total gift is given. Pratiprayachanti. Now, because we are doing penance, because we are meditating, because we are hearing the stories of God, because we are enjoying the qualities of the Lord, because we are doing lot of activities, religious activities, for example, Nitya Anushtanam, the daily duty, and even if we kill ourselves, the fruit is not near. That is it. So that means it again depends on the grace of God. So here we have a reference to Ramayana. Sabhratus charano gadam nipidya raghunandanaha. We used to say when one catches hold of another's hand, he can just slip away. He can just throw the hand out and then escape. But in order that a person may not escape from our clutches, one has to catch hold of the feet. Saha Lakshmanaha, that is Lakshmana. So Bratuhu, Brata, a very beautiful word in Sanskrit for brother, B-R-O-T-H-E-R, B-H-R-A-T-A, Brata. Sister, Swasa, mother, Mata, father, Pita. These are all same sounding words, similar sounding words. Here, but the problem here in Sanskrit is Bhrata doesn't mean own brother. He is not from the same womb of the same mother. So Bhrata is a cousin, rather step brother. Bhrata is a step brother. Whereas what is the word for step, own brother, you know? Sahodaraha, Sahodari, sister. Sodaraha, you can tick off the letter Ha. So Sodaraha and Sodari, so the sister and brother. That is the own brother and own sister. That means, of course, the Brata is a brother from the same father. That's more important. We now today call everybody cousin. Anybody's relationship is cousin. The cousin doesn't give you the exact relationship. Brata means you can say cousin, but specifically born of another wife of the father. So Brata, Bratuhu. Charanam, the 2 feet, the pair of feet. Gadham, deeply, tightly. Nipidya. In fact, he is ready to even harm the feet. Crushing, Nipidya. So that even there will be pain. So Raghunandana. Raghunandana, Sri Rama was caught hold of in the feet by Lakshmana. And the context is when he started for the forest. The one foot was caught hold by Lakshmana, the other one was by Sita. And please remember the boon of Kaikeyi. The first boon is Rama should be banned to the forest for 14 years. And then my son Bharata should become the king, should be anointed as the king. So these are the two boons reserved earlier, asked later, and there was a lot of trouble. Here, the Rama was asked to go to the forest. Why should Sita or Lakshmana go to the forest? It was not the demanded boon. But you know the reason why both of them chose to go along with Rama. Now 44. We will be totally drowned in the Ramayanam. Then. So Sakrideva Prapannaya. So this is the Charma Shloka that you know from the Rama Avatara, very famous one. It also gives us the, looks like the policy of Tennacharya Sampradaya, namely Sakriti once Prapannaya. This is common to both the Vaishnava Sampradaya, namely Deshika and Tennacharya, meaning the Prapatti is done once. Total surrender is performed only once in life. Then what else? After, say, if at all one commits sins, after doing the Prapatti, then we have the Deshika Sampradaya principle, Prayaschitta Prapatti. Now, what do you mean by the Sakrideva Prapannaya? Meaning, once we make a surrender, total surrender, we are not going back. That is the meaning of Sakriti. Sakriti doesn't mean the time, one time. So once we become the Prapannas, the surrenderies, then we don't change our mind and withdraw our surrender and then live some other life. So we are all Prapannas once and for all. Once we understand what we call Prapatti, what Prapatti is, then we will not come back. The problem, practical problem, as we all face is we take to Prapatti, rather Bharanyasa, called Bharanyasa, or Sharanagati, in many terms we have, which Deshika Sampradaya follows, whereas the Tennacharya Sampradaya includes Prapatti under Samashrenam with the Tapta Mudra, Nama Dhanam and so on. Pancha Sanskara performed, and therefore in the Deshika Sampradaya you will find that the Bharanyasa, Sharanagati or Prapatti is done once again, only once after Samashrenam, and then there we must have then before taking the Prapatti, before doing the Prapatti, most of us do not know what Prapatti is. Most of us do not understand what Prapatti is unless we read earlier the books or approach the preceptors to understand. But generally, it is expected of us to understand and then do Prapatti. Otherwise, we don't know the meaning why we must do Prapatti. We will not respect the policy. We will not, only when we understand, we will have an inclination to do Prapatti. Therefore, Keshavdas Swami was asking why we are doing Prapatti at a later age, say sometimes beyond the retirement age, either 58, 60 or 65. Why? Meaning, sometimes we say that we become mature enough to do Prapatti. The maturity lies in understanding the principles of Prapatti, namely Devatantara Gamanam Nasti. We don't approach any other god. The second is Bhagavata Apacharam. Don't insult, don't affect the modesty, the sentiment of, don't hurt Don't hurt the feelings of other Bhagavatas, the devotees of God. That means you cannot, of course, do harm to non-devotees of God also. So nobody should be harmed. And then thirdly, for the sake of maintaining your health, you don't eat out. Even if you are invited by friends who are very orthodox, we don't take food out because we know that we will be having some standards of hygiene which others may not observe. So these only three are the principles. So without, of course, by knowing these three principles, we are afraid that we cannot avoid eating out. And therefore, we postpone the prapatti to an advanced age. That is our problem. So now 45. Soham tvam sharanam aparam aprameya. Now we have to, of course, the stotram is one of the important aspects of bhakti. Shravanam, Vishnoho Smaranam, Kirtanam, sing the praise of the Lord. What do we do? Aham, I, Tvam, you, Sharanam, Soham means I am such a type of person. That meaning I have become a prapanna now. I understand why I should do prapatti. Then Tvam Sharanam, so I seek your shelter. You are my succor. You are my refuge. And how are you? Aparam aprameya. You are limitless. Aparam. Paraha meaning the border. English B-O-R-D-E-R. Sanskrit P-A-R. That's all. P-A-A-R. Para. The other shore of the ocean we say. When we take the word para, we say the ocean. Ocean shore. The shore of the ocean. The other shore of the ocean. So para. So aparam, there is no limit to the ocean. He is an ocean of mercy. And then aprameyam. He cannot be measured also. Neither there is limit for the ocean, nor the fathom, the depth can be measured. So aprameyam. You cannot imagine him also. Manasa. By mind you cannot imagine and fix him. It is not possible. And then 46. Sarvatmana yes sharanam saranyam narayanam lokagurum prapannaha. How do we consider Lord Sriman Narayana? He is, we don't give certificate, but he is fit to be approached. He is fit to be surrendered to. Sharanyaha. Sharanam gantum yogyaha, we say in Sanskrit. As though we are qualifying him to say that he deserves our salutation. He deserves our prapatti. No. So he is already there. He is already there as a Sharanya. Sarvatmana means by body, soul, possessions and form. It is not just soul, Sarvatmana, meaning in everything, in every aspect of our life, Sarvatmana, by making lot of effort, by taking lot of effort. So Sarvatmana, Yaha, who, Sharanam, Sharanam is surrender, Saranyam is one who gives surrender, one who takes us, then Narayanam, Lokagurum Prapanna. Here we have reached one who has fallen at the feet of Sriman Narayana, who is the teacher of the world, who is the master of the world, who is the elder to everyone. And then we are called Prapanna. Again, Bhagavad Gita Vakyam 47, Mam eva ye prapadyante. We say in the Bhagavad Gita, so those who reach me, they will be lifted to moksha. Or those who come to moksha, fall at my feet. Mameva ye prapadyanti. Tam tathaiva bhajamyaham. Lord Krishna says, whatever type of prapatti you want to do, why whatever type? Why so many? Are there so many types? Yes. You have Acharya Nishtha, Ukti Nishtha, Swanishtha, Artha Prapatti, Dripta Prapatti, and so on. So many varieties of Sharanagati. Therefore, in whatever type you want to reach me, then I will also treat them equally well. As you treat me decently, I also will treat you decently. So, Mameva ye prapadyanti. Then Tameva Sharanam Gaccha. This may be a statement by Sita Devi in Ashokavana to Ravana. She said, if you surrender to Rama voluntarily, he will save you. He will not do any harm to you. He will not trouble you. He will not kill you. And he will have only friendship with you. He will return the kingdom if at all he snatches it away. He will be granting you all boons. So Tameva Sharanam Gaccha. Go and surrender to him. This might be, of course, Sita's statement or anybody else's statement or advising. Then 49 again, Charma Shloka of Bhagavad Gita. Sarvadharman Parityajya. Now, this is the attitude of a Prapanna. This is the feeling of a emotion of a Prapanna, namely, give up the fruit of the sacrifice, fruit of the actions that we do, fruit of the duties that we perform. Do not expect any fruit from the daily duties as performed as actor. Dharma is a very encompassing word, very comprehensive word, meaning dharma is religion, dharma is duty, dharma is charity, dharma is righteousness, dharma is good administration, dharma is quality, and dharma is quality, and so on. So you have no equivalent word in English to tell you the entire meaning of dharma. Therefore, all this when we do, let us not expect any fruit thereof. Karmanyeva adhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana. That is the another semblance of expression in with regard to the Charma Shloka of and Keshavadas Swami also is fond of the last but one verse of Gita Sangraha, which seems to him, or even to every one of us, the better Charma Shloka of the Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita Sangraha was blessed by Yamunacharya, who is the author of this Stotra Ratnam also. So the last one word is Abhihi in the shloka of Gita Sangraha, whereas Lord says Ma Suchaha. Lord Krishna says Ma Suchaha. Don't worry, don't bother. Whereas there Abhihi. So that is what we say in Nyasa Vimshati of Sri Vedanta Deshika. Nirbharaha, Nirbhayaha Asti. Nirbharaha, Nirbhaya. That is the last expression in the Nyasa Vimshati of Vedanta Deshika. Sarvadharman Parityajya. That you know, Mamekam Saranam Raja, Maham Tva Sarva Papebhyo, Moke Ishyami, Masuchaha. So I already explained to many people who wanted meaning for Mamekam Saranam Raja. So according to Sri Vaishnava Sampradaya, we approach the goddess Mahalakshmi first, Mom, Mother, Mom Mahalakshmi. So Mom, then consider that Lord Sriman Narayana is not different from Lakshmi, and therefore Mam Ekam. Consider us as one entity. Sri Stuti says of Vedanta Deshika, Daivatam Dampatinaha. The couple, the divine couple is the God, is the what we call Godhead, Almighty. Both are one and the same. Two souls, rather you can say, in one, two in one. Then we have come to 50. Tavat artihi tatha vancha. Now this is our life we are leading here. When we are troubled, when we face problems, we approach God. Tavad artihi. Once our problems are solved, then we will stop approaching God. We go to the temple in order to fulfill our desires, in order to remove our suffering. Once there is no suffering, then we will forget God. So tavad artihi. Arti is trouble. Tavad artihi, suffering. So tatha vancha. According to the seriousness of the trouble, according to the gravity of the trouble, according to the rather degree of the trouble, our desires are also in the same percentage. Tavadatis tasya vancha. So now, these are all these quotations up to 50. Ityadi, Shruti, Smriti, Siddhamai. They are from scriptures, they are from Smritis, and they are readily available. Siddhamai. Are they easy to understand? Yes. Sukaramai. Then what do we understand finally? Adyavasayatmaka jnana visheshamana prapattiyaye upayamaha nischayit. Now we have come to a conclusion. After looking at the ideas embedded in the scriptures, Smriti, itihasas, you can add itihasas, etc. Then we understand prapatti, which is inclusive of a special knowledge, namely spiritual knowledge of the Almighty, with a lot of efforts. Adhyavasayatmakam. Without putting our efforts, we cannot understand, we cannot become wise also. Put it in the positive say, with a lot of Herculean effort, Himalayan effort, we will acquire the special wisdom. That special wisdom will lead us to the surrender, total surrender. Then we will understand that the total surrender is the means to approach the Lord, and then therefore we decide. Now, again, ippadi, prapya prapakangalai nishkarshit. Again, nishkarshanam is what you call decision, making a conclusion. Concluding that who is to be reached and who will reach us. How will we go and where to go. Decide where to go and how will you go. So we understand through scriptures and so on. So prapya prapakangal. Prapya is Lord Sriman Narayana. Prapakam, initially we say Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga and Bhakti Yoga are the means to reach him. Fourthly, Prapatti Yoga, the total surrender. And how do we understand this? While we study this Stotra Ratnam, then we will understand all the 50 points. Ivatrai, Stotra Rupattale, Sarveshware Noki Prarthikkirar. Now again, the pertinent point here is, who is Sarveshwaran? Who is the all-knowing, all-powerful, that is what we call omnipotent, then omniscient, all-knowing, then omnipresent, all-pervading Lord, and Lord is the first preceptor. Please remember, Lord is the first preceptor. Ennuir Tandalittavarai, Sharanam Vitti Aanadeven, Vedanta Deshika says in his Tamil Prabandham. Pinnarulal Perumboodur Vandavallal, Periya Nambi Alavandar, Manakkal Nambi, Nannariye Avarkuritta, Uyakkondar, Nathamuni, Katagopan, Seninadan, இன்னமுத திருமகள் என்று இவரை முன்னிட்டு எம்பெருமான் சர்வேஸ்வரன் எம்பெருமான் திருவடிகளை அடைகின்றேன். So Stotra Rupam is one of the 9 types of bhakti. So while we read the stotram, while we understand the stotram, all these 50 points must be recalled to our mind. So Bhagavad Stotram panna pukkavar Acharya Stutile Parpan M. Why does Sri Yamunacharya begin the stotram? Because already it is said in the previous paragraph, Stotra Rupattale Sarveshwaranai Nokki Prarthikiraar. So we are only aiming at the Lord. Then why should we talk about the preceptors, the immediate preceptors, whom we know, whom we have seen, and so on. In Nil 51, the 51st point. Karnes Prishte Katim Chalayati. We want to touch the ear, meaning our own ear, say, our own ear. But when we touch the ear, Katim, the hip, the bosom, Chalayati moves. Now, while somebody else touches our ear, naturally we will have some hesitation, some reservation. Why one should touch the ear? Meaning, while touching something, some part of the body, then another part of the body is not able to accept it immediately. It resists, it stops, it prevents. And in the same way, I mean, it's not a question of here prevention. So when we pray to Lord Sriman Narayana, the mention of preceptors, what you call the verses on preceptors are also very important. Before touching the God, the word touching comes from bhajanam. Bhajan is singing on God. Nama bhajanam, nama sankirtanam. When you do that bhajanam, touching of God, so we have to go through the preceptor. That is Sri Vaishnava Sampradaya. Without a preceptor, we cannot approach God. Though the Lord Sriman Narayana himself is the first preceptor, we are not supposed to go directly to that highest preceptor. We have to go through other preceptors of this world, then slowly go up the ladder of preceptors. The next preceptor to Lord Sriman Narayana is Mahalakshmi, Innamada Tirumahal. Next to that, Vishwaksena, the army chief, the security guard. Then Nammalvar, Chatagopan. So Chatagopan Nammalvar. Then beyond Nammalvar, Thiruvaimozhi. Thiruvaimozhi is our Sharanam, surrender, refuge, shelter. So after Thiruvaimozhi, rather before Thiruvaimozhi, you know the list of preceptors, starting with Ramanuja. So we start with Manavavana Mamuni in Deshika, Tennacharya Sampradaya, Swami Deshika in Deshika Sampradaya, and then we go to the next preceptor. So we have. So now the question is, 51st point question is, now when we touch the ear, what is this connection with the hip or bosom which moves? We call it Nitambam. Kati is Tamil Idupu. So Asangatam, it is irrelevant. It's a question now raised by the author of the commentary, namely Periyavachan Pillai. Bhagavad Vishayate Tamakku Stuti Vishayamaki Kodutta Upakara Smritiyalum Stotra Pannigaikkyadiyana Jnana Vaishadhyarthamahum Avigdhina Parisamaptyarthamahum Pannikiraragayale Sangatam. Sangatam, it is acceptable. It is necessary. It deserves to be included. What? The mention of the preceptors, praising of the preceptors, eulogy over the acharyas. Why? There are three reasons. Number one, Nammalvar Thiruvaimozhi, these are very important here. The Vakula Bhushanan, the Nammalvar Thiruvaimozhi, that is Shatakopaha, Shatari, his Thiruvaimozhi is the example, former example, guide, the what you call illustration to go about praising the Lord. We must have some guide how to praise the Lord. So, Stuti Vishayamaki Kodutta Upakara Smriti. Upakara Smriti, helping Smriti. Smriti, the word Smriti has got a status next to scriptures. The highest status given to Smriti is next to scriptures. After Shruti, you have Smriti. Then only comes Puranas, the lores, L-O-R-E-S, and then the epics, namely Ramayana and Mahabharata, and then Kavyas and Stotras. Any Lagu Stotras, any small one. Here it is small one, 65. 65 is not a great number. Because Shatakam, there are many Shatakams. Achyuta Shatakam, Daya Shatakam. So many Shatakams are there. Sudarshana Shatakam. Everything is more than 100. See, Rangaraja Stavam of Parashara Bhattar is 200 plus. He is called Purva Shatakam and Uttara Shatakam. The first 100, the next 100. The former 100 and the latter 100. It also doesn't contain 100, only 100, it is more. Therefore, the Upakara Smriti is Nammalvar Thiruvaimozhi. So, the helping Smriti will be, we will follow how we should pray to the Lord by going through the Bhagavad Vishayam, namely Thiruvaimozhi of Nammalvar. So, Stotram Pandhariki Adiyana Jnana Vaishadya Artham. So, we must be clear about our goal. When we are clear about our goal, now what are we to acquire? What wisdom are we to acquire? There we must have clarity in acquiring the wisdom. What book should we study? Already we have been given a book called Thiruvaimozhi of Nammalvar. But how to make a clarification, how to ask for clarification when you don't understand the Thiruvaimozhi of Nammalvar? Then you go to the Yield, the commentary. Then you will understand Jnana Vaishadhyam. What is the clarity in wisdom? So in order to have clarity in wisdom, Stotram should start with preceptors mentioned. Then Avijna Parisamaptyartham. This is a later definition, of course, in Sanskrit literature. We have what we call literary criticism in very great, like ocean in the subject of Sanskrit. We have literary criticism. So any work for that matter, how should it be? How should it start? How should it begin? How should it end? What should be the contents? If you take an example, Dandi, a name of the author, Dandi, the sannyasi, he has written a book called Kavya Darsham. Kavya Darsham. When we go through the Kavya Darsham, we understand a lot of definitions how to write a book. So the first purpose of writing a book is if I am commercially using the book, I must sell the book. It should have box office hit, and therefore, so I want to complete the book without any obstacle. That is what we call Avijna Parisamaptyartham. Vigna trouble, Avijna no trouble. Parisamapti is completion, total completion. When I start writing a book, I must end the book easily. Many of us are not able to produce books like Gopal Srinivasan Swami. Whereas the whole lifetime of 101 years, Swami Deshika produced more than 119 works, it seems. Hundreds of works. You have many authors like that. Appaya Dikshita has done more than 100 works. Neelakanta Dikshita has written more than 100 works. There are so many. For example, Parakalamatha Swami, Sarvatantra Brahmatantra Swami, the direct disciple of Swami Vedanta Deshika, he has written more than 100 works. It is very difficult to write even single work. When somebody is very good in writing, sometimes we think that he may not be able to give a good talk also. Somebody who gives a very good talk will not be a good writer. So combination of both is very rare. And therefore, avigna parisamaptya. We expect that our writing book should end in auspiciousness, what you call easily and comfortably. And therefore, the blessings of the preceptors are sought for in the beginning of a book. Now, the next question is, why should not the poet do the prayer in his mind? And we expect that let him not include the prayers, those prayers of preceptors in the book. That will make the book size very heavy, bigger. Adil manasamaha amayadu. So why should he do it in my mind, in his mind? Now this is another type of literary criticism in the dramas in Sanskrit. Especially Kalidasa had a very great model for himself to write three best dramas. One of the three dramas, namely Abhijnana Shakuntalam, is one of the 10 adored books of the world. One of the 10 books of the world is Abhijnana Shakuntalam. He wrote it, of course, with the prayers. But his master, rather his example, namely Bhasa, who wrote 13 dramas, he says in the beginning of the drama, Nandyante Pravishati Sutradharaha. The stage director enters into the stage, rather the director of the drama enters into the stage after the prayer has been completed. Meaning, the puja, the aradhanam is done behind the screen. All the spectators also can watch, but they will not understand how the prayer is done, what is the prayer for, who does it, what is the prayer, exact prayer, what are the words that they utter, why should they do Karpura Harati, the lighting of the camphor, behind the screen. There will be what you call Yavanika, the screen. Then behind the screen they will perform. Because they don't want to include it in the drama. And because the opening scene should be different. Then again, of course, for the sake of the spectators' understanding, the prayer is Nandi is repeated. Nandi meaning prayer. The word Nandi meaning Nandante Asyam Devaha or Devataha. God will be pleased to hear the prayer. Then they will grant the blessing that the drama should go on without interruption. So that is the what you call literary definition. So can the author not have the prayer in his mind? Now, Iprabandhatai Adhigari Parku Upakaram. Now, Yamunacharya, for that matter, as a great teacher who comes from the clan of family of Nathamuni, who had been the preceptor for many great authors like Vedanta Deshika and so on. Ramanuja also, and other followers. But we must know what prayer he did. We cannot imagine what prayer he did. We cannot understand what prayer did he do. Adhikariparka upakaram. When we want to read Stotra Ratnam, we will understand how Sri Yamunacharya prayed to the preceptor. Therefore, it is put in black and white. Vachika Makyanadam. We can read them now. That is proper, yuktam. So let's go to the 52nd point. Because I am also getting little wear and tear. So it is proper that we mention the preceptors in the book. Today I went through one book called Sri Ranganatha Shatakopa Yatindra Mahadeshika Shatakam. It is 40th Arishinger, 40th Pontiff of Ahobilamat. Keshava Iyengar has written 100 verses on Arishinger. But first 5 are prayers to Lord Krishna and Narasimha. I find that today, first 5 never mentions anybody else other than Lord Narasimha and Lord Krishna. These two incarnations, the author is fond of. Lord Narasimha and Lord Krishna have fascination for this author. But why should he include them? Then it will be more than 100. Are we tired of reading of this 100? That's the question. We will be tired of reading. Therefore, this is the way that this is a method of approach to writing a book. And yesterday, I think last Sunday, Upadesha, Saptati Ratnamalika of Prativadi Bhayangaram Annangaracharya, Annan, has been quoted by here Madhavacharya in Srirangam for his support to Deshikaha. Only one guide to the whole world is Vedanta Deshika. A very good guide is it. I'll give you the quotation next session. And fortunately, Gopal Srinivasan Swami from Mumbai has the knack of publishing it. That's what I would say. Because nobody else has taken up the task of publishing such a good book. Because as we understand, as I told you in this session, Sampradayas are fighting with each other. If I don't like you, then I can fight with you. If I like you and then if I again fight with you, that is odd. It looks very odd. But we are, as Keshavdas Swami expects, all of us to understand what Sampradayas are. Without reading Shankaracharya's Advaitam of Sri Bhashyam, we won't call his Sri Bhashyam, but Shankara Bhashyam. When we understand the Bhashyam of Sri Adi Shankaracharya, of the Brahma Sutras of Vedavyasa, we will not understand Ramanuja's Sri Bhashyam. That is very, very certain. And in order to understand deeply again Ramanuja's Sri Bhashyam, then we have to go through Madhvacharya's Bhashyam of Brahma Sutras of Vedavyasa, Krishna Dvaipayam. That is very evident, all of us know. we must have no animosity between the sampradaya. And the Lord has created even Charvaka Sampradaya, the atheist philosophy, disbeliever of gods. And we have to agree with them also. And we have to make them come around us. That's the. Thanks to Dr. Vaidishwaran, I wanted to invite you earlier. So over to.
So Swami, Swami Mohan Govindaraj has got some question in the chat. He's asking,
Okay.
you were describing about some different types of property. There's the Swanishta, Acharya Nishta, Swanishta, Ukti Nishta, and then there was also the Artha property, the Dripta property. And he's asking, which is the best and what are the different types? And is there any precedence? And is there any circumstance for each one?
There is no property which is best for everybody, and the other one is better or other one is bad or good. No grading in there in property. If a person is very knowledgeable that he doesn't need a preceptor, he thinks that doesn't need a preceptor to go, then he is doing Swanishta. And we call that particular group called Swayam Acharya. Still, in a family, if I am the eldest and if I can guide others, then I can do Swanishta, and of course all other family members will have to follow me. Therefore, Swanishta is only for a confident person who understands. But who is to test him that he knows everything? Nobody. One has to satisfy himself that he has studied all books. Others can easily recognize. If I don't know anything, immediately they will quit me. And therefore, once suppose they approach me and then find me that I am not adequate, then so Swanishta rather sometimes done secretly. When we in a family, there is a family. I'm not quoting the name. There are elderly people in the family. I don't believe on my elders. I have a brother, what you call step brother, as you know, or rather a cousin. My father's elder brother's son. I'm not ready to go to him because I don't believe him. Because he is very close to me. I saw him being brought up with me, along with me. He doesn't know anything more than me. These are some feelings that I have. So I don't want to have it. Therefore, I want to change over to some other acharya. So I'm one family was asking from USA last week to me. So I want to talk to you privately. And I said, yes, we can talk personal matter. What is that personal matter? Is the Swaimacharya family, that's the Swaimacharya family. They had one preceptor. The preceptor is dead now, in the sense he has passed away. So his sons are available. His sons are very great scholars, but they have not taken up the process of offering Samashrayanam, what you call the Pancha Samskaram, Tapta Mudra, Namakaranam, all of that, and then again they are not ready to engage themselves in getting the prapatti from the Shishyas. Then whom to choose? The question is, whom to choose for this family? Now there are three choices. If they are common Vaishnavas, Chennacharya Sampradaya Acharyas are also available. So what to choose from? Then I asked them because I belong to Ahobila Math. I said, you choose Ahobila Math. So this is what we call Acharya Nishta. Acharya Nishta is you believe the Acharya and then get done with it. No more worries. Ma Sucha. Abhi. Sarvadharman Parityajya. So give up all your sense of belongings to the preceptor. Acharya. Acharya will take care of you. He will get you the moksha. He will recommend your case to Bhagavan and so on. The other one is Ukti Nishta. This is more simple than even Acharya Nishta. Go and tell him that and come away. Go and tell the preceptor that I want to surrender, make a surrender to the Lord through you. Through you, that's very important. So Acharya Nishta is believing your immediate Acharya in flesh and blood that we can see with the naked eyes. Remember him as God. Treat him as God. Whereas Ukti Nishta is you are approaching God through him. Ukti, you go and say it. Mention your desire to get the moksha. That's all. That is your Ukti Nishta. Then Prapatti, generally, you know, the word Prapatti, surrender, is called Artha and Dripta. So Artha is, I want immediate solution to my, what we call, demand of moksha. Today I want, now I want. Immediate solution to my, so that is Artha, because I am suffering a lot. A person is a patient in the hospital. He is in ICU. Today you have another department called CCU, Critical Care Unit. Many of us have not heard about it. The hospitals have the knack of opening a lot of cells for us. Isolation from the relatives and friends, then ill treatment by the medical personnel, and then so on. So what do we ask for? Artha Prapatti. Somebody said, I couldn't. There were brothers, lot of brothers. They said we couldn't see our mother with excruciating pain. Then we advised the doctors asked us whether to take off the oxygen mask. We said yes. Remove the oxygen mask. She will die soon. So of course, death is not the solution to the Prapatti, as we know. And this is what happened. This is what happened. So Artha Prapatti. Then Dripta Prapatti is, we can wait. We can wait. We can wait for even the next birth. We are confident that God will save us at the end. The Acharya, we have the belief in Acharya also. That is Dripta Prapatti. Sometimes that is the reason for why we do late the Prapatti. In the advanced age, after, when I have no commitments to go out, and then when everything is available with me at home, then I don't need to search for anything, and then involve myself in all social activities which keep me away from Prapatti, other preceptor and God. So Acharya Devo Bhava is our Sampradaya. Believe in the, so these are the 5 types of Acharya Nishta, Swanishta, Ukti Nishta, Artha Prapatti, and Dripta Prapatti.
So Swami, he's also asked,
which is the best? No, nothing is called the best. I mean, according to each one, it differs.
Yeah, he also asked the question about how Prayaschitta Prapatti is done, and do you need an Acharya? How Prayaschitta Prapatti is done. Prayaschitta Prapatti seems to be another one. It seems to be number 6. So how is it done? How is it done, and do you need an Acharya for that?
Right. So Prayaschitta Prapatti, in our Ahobilamata Sampradaya, First we call it Samashrayanam. The second step is Bharanyasa. Third one is Prayaschitta Prapatti. So the second one, Bharanyasa, we accept the principles, we try to follow. When we are not able to follow, that means we fail in following strictly the rules of Prapatti, then we tend to commit sins. We are forced to commit sins because we are helpless there. Somebody is making us do something wrong. That's what we say. Even we blame God also. God has made me commit sins. He has given me the mind to commit sins. That's what we blame. So here, of course, this one. After committing sins, we understand. Wantonly we are committing sins, and unknowingly we are committing sins. Both are there. When we are unknowingly committing sins, then we have to seek what we call Prayaschitta Prapatti. The process of Prayaschitta Prapatti is almost the fag end of life. Go to the preceptor, tell him we are not going to confess like Christianity. Manasa vacha hastabhyam padbhyam udarena shishna ratris tadavalumpatu ahastadavalumpatu yatkincha duritam mayi mamamrtayonavu. It says Surya Jyotishi Juhomi Swaha, then evening Agni Jyotishi. So we have Satya Jyotishi Juhomi Swaha. Now, this is to absolve all our sins. So submit ourselves again. Regretting is more important than approaching a preceptor and then. So that is Prayaschitta Prapatti. Mentally, physically, you go to the preceptor and tell him that we have not followed all the procedures of Prapatti. Then the Acharya is so graceful that he will give you a solace. He will express soothingly the words for your relief, and you mentally get relieved. And then, so there is no particular religious process with mantras involved. No mantras are involved. Whereas mantras are involved in Samashrayanam, Ashtakshara is involved in Samashrayanam, Dvayam and Charma Shloka are important in Prapatti. Then Prayaschitta Prapatti, we say in the end of the Aradhanam, in the guise of doing service to you, Upacharapadeshena, in the guise of doing service to you, Upacharapadeshena, Kritan Ahar Maya, Apacharan Iman Sarvan, Kshamassa Purushottama. We pray to, at the end of every Aradhanam, we say, please pardon my sins. Kshamassa. After committing all the pronunciation, spelling, some mistakes in Vishnu Sahasranamam, we also say longly the last verse, Yadakshara Padabhrashtam, Matra Hinantu Yad Bhavet, Tat Sarvam Kshamyatam Deva, Narayana Namostute, Visarga, Bindu, Matrani, Pada, Pada, Aksharanicha. We have mentioned all the mistakes. Nyunanicha, Atiriktani. Over enthusiastic in pronouncing the letters. Today one of the participants in Sudarshana Shatakam Parayanam was overtaking me, and the participant said one more word by splitting it differently. I said, wait for my splitting and then you split the word. So, enthusiastic. I understand the curiosity to go fast. But I said, if you know, I told the participant, if you know already this, then go on. If you don't know, then please wait for me.
So I mean, my Acharya Sri Rangapriya Mahadevjikan used to say the difference between Satyam Vada and Satyam Vadha would be a. It's only one letter which requires to change the whole meaning of the sentence.
We also say dharmam chara, eat the dharmam. Chara meaning grace, grace for the animals. You graze the dharmam, that means you swallow, and then that means you don't perform any dharma. Dharmam chara. Vaideshwaran knows that this kind of change in the meaning. Satyam Vada. Kill this truth.
So Swami Govindachari is asking if when you do Prayaschitta property, you feel some regret, and after you go to the Acharya and you confess your sins, and does the Acharya give some Prayaschitta for you to do? Does he give you some penance, some atonement, some action to do?
That's what I said. He will say again, don't repeat your mistakes.
That's all.
Do not repeat your mistakes.
That's all.
Wantonly and knowingly, and if you are doing unknowingly, for the sins committed unknowingly, we have definitely the pardon from the Lord. So he will not. That's why I said the preceptor will give you a relief from your disturbing thought of having committed a lot of sins after prapatti.
Right, but I mean, if we, in the case of Ambarisha Maharaja and Durvasa committed an apachara, Bhagavata apachara to Ambarish, and Sudarshana was following him. And he went to the Lord and he did property, but the Lord didn't accept that property. So if I go to the Acharya and I say, I cheated this person, I stole from this person, or I cheated from this person, and the Acharya just says, okay, you're forgiven. Should I not return the property to that person I stole it from, or is there any other thing that I have to do, or the Acharya is just going to say, okay, don't do it again? But do I have to? In the story of Ambarisha and Durvasa, he had to go to Ambarisha and be property at the Bhagavata. If I do a Bhagavata apachara, can I go to the Acharya and say, I mistreated this Bhagavata, please forgive me? And the Acharya can forgive me, or I have to go to the Bhagavata and be forgiven?
No, the Acharya will give you give us the solution. Instead of
then why is it when Durvasa did property to the Lord, he couldn't get free from the Bhagavata apachara?
No, these are all stories, incidents that happen. In order that we understand the real meaning. That's all. That means a great man, Durvasa was a great sage. And the special qualification, special privilege for Durvasa is, as long as he gets angry, his power of penance increases. All other sages will lose their merit of penance once they give boons or curse. By giving boons, the rishis will lose their power of penance. One small example that I give, many people prostrate, fall down at the feet of our great elders in our family, or if Gopal Srinivasan comes, I will even salute him from here by falling at the feet on the ground, Sattanga Namaskar. Then I will take away some merits from him. Rather, he will have less merits, and my sins will be washed away. Because he is blessing me. The problem is, just now we had, when we do prapatti and inform the preceptor that we have committed all these sins, I mean, when we are transferring the burden of sins, Bharanyasa, we think that the preceptor will be affected by our sins. A little, yes, a little. We also say yes, a little. Because he takes to himself all our sins and absolves us from all the sins. So when I fall at the feet of the elder, I take the merit of the elder commits, because he has less merit. Therefore, what the person who has been saluted should do is perform 8 Gayatri Japas. Just 8. Very simple. Every time one fall at my feet, I must do japam for 8 Gayatri.
Swami, if you're a Jir Swami, you must be chanting Gayatri all day.
Yeah, the minimum that today my preceptor 46th Pattam expects is because of Corona 1008 times 3 times a day. But it's not possible. Therefore, we do 108 minimum. Sometimes we say, Mahaperiva of Kanchipuram said, at least please do 10. That's what. So 28 is the number. Sometimes 28 is the number. But 54, then 108. Then we can. On Gayatri Japam day, in one day in a single year, single time in a whole year, the Japam is not very much concentrated also. I assure everyone that we have a lot of distractions, dissipations.
Can ladies say Gayatri Japam?
They can. They have the Ashtakshara mantra, yes. Am Namo Narayanaya, Dvaya mantra, Shivan Narayana Charano. Then Shri Vishnu, instead of Om Am, so Shri Vishnave Namaha. Then Om Namo Bhagavate, instead of Om, Am Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So many, then Sarvadharman Parityajya. Then Sagradeva Prapannaya, Charma Shlokas of Varahavatara, Ramavatara and Krishnavatara. So many prayers like Stotra Ratnam. But you are, as Keshavdas Swami demanded, all Shudras or women should be allowed to say everything.
Can you say Om Bhur Bhuvatsva Tat Savitur Varenyam? Can we say that?
That is what, normally, because it has Swaram.
Yeah.
Without Swaram, one can say.
Okay.
But you cannot sing it also. Okay. As the calling bell sings it, you cannot sing it. But it should have a proper swaram, which the proper swaram is supposed to be said only by the male folk.
Okay.
And then now these are all some you say privileges given, especially because of male chauvinism and so on. No, the portfolio is there. The portfolio, your department is kitchen. You are the queen in the kitchen. If any male member disturbs you, you get angry. Your rights are disturbed. Therefore, but when we start cooking, then who will tolerate? We ourselves will dismiss the food. So, there are some good cooks. Nala and Bhima were good cooks. That again he will say, no ladies in any Mahabharata Ramayana has been named as a good cook. Nala, for that matter, is in Mahabharata is a very great. Even Bhima also. Bhima cooked for 1 year. Bhima was assisted by Draupadi also in Virata Parva, Virata kingdom for 1 year. 1 year of incognito. And then Nala is a very good cook. Nala Pakaha, we say. Nala Paka.
So we have the patriarchy also in the kitchen too. In the Matapalli. In the Mattapalli. Is there any ladies in the Mattapalli?
That's what said. They will say domination by us, and therefore.
The only lady in the Mattapalli is that they have some deity of Anna Lakshmi or some, they have some deity of Anna Lakshmi.
Yeah, Madappalli Nachiyar.
Mattapalli Nachia, yeah. But
When we go enter
but
into
if-
the
but they
kitchen
won't allow
of the
ladies
temple-
there. No ladies.
Yeah.
But Apastamba says the Shudras can go.
That's what you are. I always do not approve of your stress on combining the two categories of people.
It's you're the one that brings up the ladies all the time. I'm interested in the Shudras, the Mlechas, the foreigners.
Yeah, you are trying to define the caste of foreigners.
I'm not trying to define it, but Dharma Shastra defines it as far as I can see. Dharma Shastra defines it. So
No, you are asking what area of India up to what these four
No,
divisions of
no,
varnas are there.
no, just I was very interested by your remark yesterday that you feel that Max Mueller was like a Brahmin.
Which one?
Max Mueller.
Hmm.
Max Mueller. Yesterday you mentioned Max Mueller.
Max
We can't-
Muller learned
We can't say what caste Max Mueller is.
No, yeah, he learned the meaning of scripture.
Then he's then this is only for a Brahmin. Okay.
Brahmin can chant. Yeah?
The point is he did not chant.
He didn't chant. Yes, he didn't get Samashranam. No, definitely not. Okay, so I had a couple of questions also from your lecture. You were saying about the Vaishnavas and the Prapadas. They should not harm others. They should not harm other Vaishnavas. They should also not harm other people in general, or even other living entities, other animals and plants.
Yeah.
But Krishna insisted that Arjuna should kill all his relatives.
So,
Arjuna did property to Krishna, and then Krishna told him, "You go and kill everybody."
no, a Kshatriya's duty, a royal family man's duty is to oppose the enemies, oppose somebody who calls himself an enemy. Here cousins were enemies, and they were dead against him. And therefore,
In Mahabharata,
though the philosophy of the permanency of the soul, permanence of the soul, Nayam Hanti Nahanyate. No individual soul is killed, nobody kills. Nayam Hanti Nahanyate. So we have the concepts taught to him, but can one stab the other because Jivatma is ever present? The murderer will go to jail, he will be arrested and he will be given punishment.
right? Okay, so the thing is, when a soldier kills another soldier in the battlefield, he gets a medal. But when a person kills another person in the street, who is not a soldier, they're not soldiers, then that person is put in the jail. That person is
Yeah.
punished. So there's a difference, but the killing is the same, but the person's dharma is different. So in Mahabharata, there is this Dharma Vyada, who is a butcher. He's a hunter, and his dharma, he was born in that caste, and his dharma is to kill the animals, and to be a butcher and to sell the meat. So that is his dharma, right?
Yeah.
So
Lord Shiva and Arjuna competed with each other in attacking a boar. And then after killing it, both of them claimed that they killed. Shiva said, I killed it. Arjuna said, so there was a fight between the two. And finally, Lord Shiva blessed him with the Pashupatastra. That's all.
The duty of that Kshatriya had to save the empire.
சொல்லுங்க கத்தி சொல்லுங்க
The duty of the Kshatriya is to protect the nation, the empire, Hastinapura empire.
right.
That is why he fought all the, even though they were his cousins and other things. For the cause of the nation,
Right.
they did the fighting.
Right.
So in that way,
The
it is,
problem in especially Mahabharata war is there are two points in a war, in a just war, what you call righteous war. The ladies, the children, the elderly people, and the cows must be protected. Must be protected. Then the question of Arjuna is, if I kill all the people of this country, kingdom, then whom should I rule? Whom should I rule? Where are the people for me to rule? You can't call a kingdom only when there are subjects. You can call it a kingdom. When there is a barren land, and then how can he rule a land? That's what he's asking in the first chapter.
Yeah, he made some other arguments too, because he didn't
Right.
want to kill the husbands.
Right.
He didn't want all the ladies to be left alone
Right.
without husbands. But so yeah, I understand that the Kshatriya's duty is to kill in battle. The soldier in battle, that is the duty. And outside of battle and soldiers, we should not be killing others. But the Dharma Vyada in the Mahabharata, he was a butcher, he was a hunter, and he was killing animals and selling the meat. And many people came to listen to ask him questions about Dharma. So there's
No,
there's
I
a
would
section of
also-
society like this. It's
I would
okay.
also like you to look at different angle, either Mahabharata or Ramayana, or for that matter, any incarnation of the Lord is to instruct us the right way of life. But no, it's not a question of how did it, why he did it. The Lord Krishna did it or Rama did it. So what did they do in any situation? So the background is very important. The principle behind the more than the incident is important. For example, I will also say Rama killed a lady first, Tataka. Krishna killed a lady first. So,
Putana.
Putana, yes.
Putana, yeah. Even she came like a mother. Even she approached him like a mother. Still, he killed her.
Vedanta Deshika is very pertinent and humorous also. In the fourth sarga of Yadavabhirim, he says, Putana came as a mother, came as a beautiful gopi, because everybody was, nobody mistook her for some stranger. And her intention was to feed the baby. Because directed by Kamsa, unfortunately directed by Kamsa, she added poison to the milk. That's all. And whereas Lord Krishna as a child gave her the boon that she will not be suckling again. She will not become a baby again. Na punaravartate, na punaravartate. She doesn't have the next birth. Because she came as a mother. Because she wanted to feed. So that is the... not only he drank the milk, also drank the life also. Her life out. So then, these are all something. Now, for children, the stories are what we call picturesque. Picturesque. For people like us, I mean, we are also children, but for us, the basic understanding. It is not, now the question is, Vaideshwaran also said, and you also said about Arjuna. Arjuna is asked to kill. Then what that kind of situation we will not face. Now I will give you an example of one Purana, Shiva Purana, where Lord Shiva objects to Parvati in attending her father's sacrifice, Daksha, because Daksha did not give. Daksha Prajapati is one of the 11 assistants to the creator, very great man. He is the father-in-law of Lord Shiva. He did not give due respect to Lord Shiva. He did not invite him to the sacrifice. And then Parvati, because of her relationship as her father, she disagreed with Lord Shiva and went to the sacrifice. Now, this happened in personal life of some family here. The brother and sister, say for example, not father and daughter, the brother and sister. The sister attended the brother's daughter family. She was not invited. Instead, her arrival was shunned. It was not liked. So the history repeats itself. The same type of attitude. One not inviting the other, and because of the relationship, one has to go and attend the wedding, and so on. This happened in one of the families. Why I say this is only what we call similar incident that we face in life also from Puranas.
So okay, so we take the for the children, these are nice stories, but for the adults, we should see the meaning behind the stories, and we should apply to these stories, Puranic stories, meaning to our life stories. Whenever something happens in our life, we can apply that meaning. So very good.
Today my wife said there is a different angle of vision by Ravana. Mandodari asked Ravana, her husband, why did you abduct Sita, another's wife? All right, you have done a mistake. You return Sita to Rama properly, and then do it. He said, you don't remember my, you don't know how I am born as Ravana. So I wanted to see Rama in my kingdom. When he stepped into Ahalya's hermitage, Gautama's hermitage, Ahalya was relieved of the sins. Therefore, in the same way, when he steps into Sri Lanka, my sins will be washed away. My sins of opposing him will be washed away. So I'm going to give you that kind of what you call a paragraph, which is a nice angle to in Ravana's argument with Mandodari, why he abducted Sita. Otherwise, Rama would not visit Sri Lanka. And there are 2 points.
I mean, it would have been. He could have just asked Rama to come. Why he could have just asked Rama, come to Sri Lanka and bless me. Instead, he stole his wife. It's a little bit. It's a strange idea.
That way, see, if it is not strange, we will not remember it. You have 10 heads of Ravana, 60,000 years of Dasharatha. How can you believe 60,000 years of Dasharatha? And because of his fear from Parashurama, he married every year. Because Parashurama said, within 1 year of marriage, I will not kill the king. Therefore, 60,000 wives of, then 16,000 wives of, numberless for Krishna. 8 are queens. 3 are queens to, what principle should we follow? Rama's Ekapatni Vratam or Dasharatha's Ekapatta Patni Vratam? He said, I mean, the Ekapatta Patni Vratam. He had many wives. Dasharatha had many wives. We say polygamy is allowed in the Kshatriya family. We say that. Who framed the rules? Manu. So should we believe Manu? So that is the question. So here, can we manage with at least 2 wives? No.
Even one wife.
We used to say, don't get jealousy over a man having 2 wives, because he is able to manage. We understand in Srirangam we have many examples. Then the other way is also there. One, if the first wife is dead, the man marries. When the husband dies, which woman is allowed to marry, or which woman will have an attitude to marry? Of course, widow remarriage is not there in Shastra. Everybody is asking, is there any widow remarriage? My mother was asked by my father's Annamalai University in granting a pension. At the age of my mother's, 85 years of my mother's age, the form has to be filled up. The form has to say, I have not remarried, therefore I am eligible for pension. At the age of 85, she should certify, and the bank manager has to attest the signature that she has not remarried. This is the procedure that we have. This is the procedure, what we call legal procedure that we have.
But in foreign people,
See, the rules are not for man. Man is for rule.
these rules are framed by British people. Even in foreign countries, this might happen very rarely.
Yeah, I think Indians had plenty of rules before British, but after British, they actually follow a lot of the rules.
Right.
This is
So there was a couple other quick things.
Yeah.
You mentioned about the different there are scriptures or Shruti and Smriti, and there's a different, one comes first, one is more authoritative, one is considered more authoritative than the other, like that. And we have been reading in Srivachana Bhushana by Pillai Lokacharya, of course, Tenacharya Sampradaya. He's saying that, he says that Itihasa is more than Purana. That, like you say, Mahabharata is like Panchama Veda, 5th Veda. But he says that Ramayana is greater than Mahabharata. So in Deshika Sampradaya, do you consider Ramayana to be greater Pramanam than Mahabharata or not?
No, they are treated equally.
Equally,
Because Vedavyasa wrote Mahabharatam,
right?
and Valmiki. Vedavyasa is Vyasaya Vishnu Rupaya, Vyasa Rupaya Vishnu. He is another incarnation of Lord Vishnu. Whereas Valmiki is only a son of rain god, Varuna. That's why he is called Prachetas.
So in Deshika Sampradaya, they must be thinking Mahabharata is greater, is a greater shastra than
Equally great. Equally
great.
great.
Because people say that Ramayana is Sharanagati Shastra.
Yeah.
So
Mahabharata is more than that. So dharma, artha, kama, moksha, all the 4 purposes of human life are the aims of reading the book Mahabharata.
so
Whereas
there's
Moksha Shastram is Ramayana.
I
Moksha
see.
Shastram is Ramayana.
Okay, so that's the difference. That's the only difference. Like everything is in Mahabharata, but Ramayana is only moksham, is about moksham. Okay, so the only other
The point that affects our mind is Rama had only one wife, whereas one wife with 5 husbands. That is Mahabharata, and that is what we call irony in Mahabharata.
So we have Rama has one wife in Ramayana, Mahabharata, Draupadi has 5 husbands, and in Bhagavata, Krishna has so many girlfriends and wives. So different people have different shastras which they like according to this idea. So once again, it comes down to what you like, the relationship with the ladies, whatever that is you like, then your shastra will be similarly like this. Okay. So one other question I had, you were mentioning about the Guru Parampara. We're talking a lot about Guru Parampara here in the beginning. So you said that Mahalakshmi, Lord is the first preceptor, Sriman Narayana, Embaraman. And then Mahalakshmi is the next preceptor. But then you also were saying that, especially in Deshika Sampradaya, they think of Mahalakshmi and Lord as Divya Dampatis. They're one person. They're one Godhead. They're one Godhead. Then why the need for them to be the next preceptor? Why not just Divya Dampatis and then Vishwaksena, then Sadagopa, like this? But why?
That is why she dons the role of Purushakaratva. She is in a recommendatory position. When you approach your father, it should be through your mother. It's very simple. So you get things done.
Right. I think both Chanacharya and Deshika Sampradaya, they both accept the idea of Purushakara. Correct. Okay, great. So I think we kept you really late today. Should we do the Tanians?
How many of us remain here?
Many people are remaining.
Swami, I want to say I have a very soft corner for Rama. I feel sorry. really, really very soft corner, and so much to learn from Rama and Sita.
Yeah, Rama as a human being is closer to us, whereas Krishna is beyond our imagination.
Correct.
Even Dasaratha with new wife every year, this is also beyond our imagination.
Swadayaniha sarvesham trayantartham sudurgraham stotrayamasa yogindraha tam vande yamunahvayam namo namo yamunaya Yamunaya namo namaha Namo namo Yamunaya Yamunaya namo namaha Yatpadam bhoruhadhyana vidhvasta sheshakalmashaha Vastutam upayatoham Yamuneyam namamitam
Srimat Krishna Samatvaya Namo Yamuna Sunave Yat Kataksha Ekalakshanam Sulabha Sridharaha Sada Namaha Yamuna Pada Abja Venubhihi Pavita Atmane Vidita Akhila Vedyaya Gurave Vidita Atmane
Kavitarkika Simhaya Kalyana Gunashaline Srimate Venkateshaya Vedanta Gurave Namaha